Right here, I've got Sandy from Pennsylvania.
I just want to say thank you guys for coming back. We did see you in 2011, so thank you. What we wanted to know is, last night watching you on the stage, see yourself in your parts. What's that like now, looking back? Do you critique yourself? Do you think about what you were doing at that time?
Yeah, we kind of, well, I say we, me. I always remember what we were doing, like behind the scenes or in between takes or something when watching it. So yeah, it's quite cool. And actually, when I first saw the film for the first time, you'd watch it first and then you would remember what we were doing while shooting it. And it's only the second time we actually watched it as the movie. So yeah, I more remember what we did whilst we were filming.
Anyone else?
Yeah. I hate it. I really struggle looking back and watching the stuff. Particularly last night when we came out and you put the big scene on, I was just like, oh man. Yeah, I really struggle with it. But on the flip side of that, I do love watching, the films, for what everyone else has done, everyone else's work. You're seeing everyone evolve and mature throughout the films. That's kind of nice. And I can just skip past my bits, it's alright.
Fast forward. I think I saw a photo of you actually from last night when you walked in with your photo on the back screen like this. That was a good one.
I feel a mixture of things. Like I feel pride for one because it's a Harry Potter movie and that's awesome. And and also I guess I don't mind watching myself as Luna. I have a problem even with these screens right here. I'm like, oh stop. But I have no problem watching Luna because it's a different character and yeah, I'm just so happy to have been a part of the films. But I do also now, not when I was doing them, but now I feel longing. I really miss her. And I kind of miss the costumes, and I'm just waiting for Universal to make a Love Good ride so I can get back in costume.
What would that ride entail? And squirrels.
I think it would be that would be cool. But something more like a trip inside Luna's imaginary world, her animal world.
Would it be a roller coaster?
Maybe, but there'd be more there would be holograms and weird things coming out at you. It would really, you'd walk out and be like, what?
What did I just see? I don't even know what just happened.
So spacey and awesome. Yeah, and colorful. So yeah, I'd love that to happen.
Excellent. Julia.
All right, I have Savannah. She's from Gainesville, Florida, and she would like to know, out of all the books, what was your favorite to film? Out of all the books, what was your favorite to film?
For me, it would be the Goblet of Fire. I mean, they're all fantastic to do. The Goblet of Fire was, I think, because we just turned 18 when we were doing it, so we were allowed to go out clubbing afterwards. And it was the same time when a load of the Rob, Clement, and Stan came on board as well, and Katie and Leon. And they were all our age. Because before we were always the oldest of the kids, as it were. So we could hang around with them and able to grow our hair long. Even have a mosh pit in the middle of the Yule board, which is quite cool. Just everything about that film, I just remember was a really, really cool time. Learning to dance properly, which was just as awkward as it looked on the film when Professor McGonagall was teaching them how to dance. First day was like that, because you have all these really good-looking girls who were professional dancers, one side, and there's us.
Apart from Devon, Devon was very keen to learn.
I was not.
But yeah, it was fantastic. I think that really came out during that film as well. You could see the enjoyment on all our faces at different parts of it, like the Quidditch World Cup game, to the Porky and doing all the dropping down and the harnesses and stuff. That was really enjoyable.
I think for me it's probably the very first Harry Potter, because we were all so young getting onto this big huge movie and meeting so many different people, getting to make new friends, lifetime friends in the end, and getting to work with really big director like Chris Columbus, who was absolutely amazing. and it was just so much fun. Like being 11 and 12 years old, stepping into such a big set, so many people, it was just outstanding.
I guess probably the last one, Deathly Hallows, just simply because I had so much to do with Neville in there. We got a lot to do in terms of stunts. I had all the really cool battle makeup and all the battle scars that we got to do. I got to, swing a sword around. It was just like, I had such a good laugh on that last movie. Yeah, I'll never forget any of that. It was wicked.
She was wrapped up in your story.
Yeah, interesting. I love hearing about the early films, because I just remember watching them. Probably the 7th one, because it was, the whole entire cast came back, like all the people I hadn't met before, and like all the Order of the Phoenix and Dumbledore's army, and there were a lot of big scenes where we were all shooting together. I remember, I think it was Mark Williams who actually made a joke. He looked around and he was like, "This is the most expensive set of extras they've ever seen," because it was all like Maggie Smith and Michael Gambon. Well, no, not Michael Gambon. What am I talking about? But all these people, probably Paul trained, they were all like standing there, just standing there. They didn't have any lines, so it was an expensive set of extras. But it was just really fun because we didn't. It felt like the whole family were united, and we were lucky that one of the last scenes that we shot, well, the last scenes I shot anyway, were those big battle scenes. So everyone was together, and it felt normally like on films. There's an anticlimax at the end. You end up shooting some really irrelevant shot, like just a hand, and that's it. Whereas this was, it ended on a big bang for me anyway.
Stephen.
Yeah, I have Maria from Liverpool, and she has a question for anyone on the panel that would like to answer.
Now the Harry Potter's finished. What would be like your dream acting role to do now?
Say that one more time.
What would your dream role be now that you've completed the Potter films?
Oh, wow. Have you come all the way from Liverpool just to visit the Orlando studios? Wow. I don't know, mate. What were you?
Mine would be like to play like a professional golfer, but like on a series. So that'd be my dream. That'd be great.
I did not see that coming. It's different. I thought you were going to go somewhere totally different with that. You're like, golfer. I'm like, okay. Matthew, come on, you gotta have something.
Oh wow, I don't know. I think some kind of superhero would be pretty cool. Actually, the thing was, I always wanted to play a soldier, and I've just done it. I've just finished the series for BBC. Thanks. Where I'm playing a soldier, and so that was really a kind of a dream come true for me to do that. I guess aside from that, some kind of superhero, I guess.
Which one?
Well, obviously, like all the best ones are all taken, really.
Make your own.
James Bond!
I'll have a fight with Ben Affleck and try and take over Batman.
I don't think you'd have any trouble doing that. All right, let's see, Aaron.
All right, guys. This next question comes from the fan page on Twitter. We have another question from the Ask HPcast hashtag, and they ask, which potion would you like to try more, Felix Felicis or Polyjuice potion?
Tough choice.
The first, the Felix Felicis? Is that one? Is that what it's called, Felix Felicis? What she said? The first one she said? That one.
That one.
Yeah, the luck one, absolutely. That was, by a mile, no contest.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
Polyjuice potion. That was posh. Polyjuice potion, because I think it'd be quite cool just to fool people. I mean, I'm used to that anyway, but you know, it'd be do someone else. I don't know who though, but yeah, it'd be pretty fun to. Yeah.
Go back to the Human Torch.
Yeah, I did say earlier if I could do the thank you. I said I'd be the Human Torch if I could do the Polyjuice potion, but I think it's something really random, like a Moomin or something like that. That'd be really random.
I thought you wanted to be Justin Bieber.
You are in Florida now. Jason.
Yep, we got Becca from Indiana.
Hi. I was wondering, out of the 3 casts in the Tri-Wizard tournament, which would you most like to compete in?
They're bringing the heat today.
No.
I think the Dragon Challenge made to get the egg. I'd like a dragon's
It's
egg.
not his dragon though.
I do the water one because I'd love to meet the mermaids. Have a song and dance. They sing down there, so. But I can't swim, so that would be a problem. I'd have to have someone do it.
Just
for me.
float down there. Oh, look, a mermaid.
I'd be the sacrifice or whatever it was.
Anyone else?
I would say the maze, but I'd probably still be there if I still.
Happens.
I'd probably go for the dragon as well, just because it's action-filled and you've got lads chasing after you, trying to kill you, so I think I'd go with that.
Oh, fire there too, so you'd be right at home.
But that's it, exactly. I think if Seamus had the wand there, you kind of blow him up, do something like that.
All right, Julia.
All right, I have Scott with me from St. Louis. He's looking so dapper today.
I know everybody in this room probably misses Richard Harris. I would like the panel, especially those who worked with Richard, to compare and contrast acting styles between Richard and Michael, and also any interesting anecdotes you might have about interactions with Richard Harris. Thank you very much.
Matthew, you want to start that off?
No. No, absolutely. You know, getting the opportunity to work with both the late Richard Harris and Michael Gambon has been absolutely incredible. Both absolute gentlemen, both a pleasure to work with, and really, as young actors, I think I speak for everyone that says incredibly inspirational. You know, as a young boy, I didn't really have a whole lot of time spent with Richard, but all I will say is that every time I did speak to him, and every time I had any scenes with him, and every time I nagged him to sign one of my books, he was absolutely charming and was, you know, just really great to be around. And then Michael, on the other hand, is just absolutely, he's mad, he's just crazy. You know, he's always telling jokes that none of which I could ever repeat in front of people. He's just really larger than life, and yeah, they're two very different people, different personalities, but both of which it's been a great pleasure to be around.
Stephen.
Hey, I have Sydney from Oklahoma with a question for Evanna.
Is there any scene in the book that didn't make it to the movie that you wish had made it to the movie?
Plenty, yeah. Yeah, well, the one that I always say that I was really gutted that they cut out, and was originally in the script, was the Quidditch commentation scenes, because that was so much fun in the book, and I think J.K. Rowling did a great job of making sports actually bearable with her commentation. This is not a popular opinion with these guys, but yeah, that was the one I was just, anything with my character, I was just like, let's do the Luna spin-off series, but I think we all did pretty well, and I think, you know, all the best scenes. Everyone always bemoans the lack of that there weren't more house elves, and I would have enjoyed seeing the house elves in the kitchen. I thought that was really cute. That was another scene, but yeah, we did as best as we could.
We have Brett from Canada with a question for James and Oliver.
Hi guys, I was just wondering how long it took you guys to synchronize your voices so you'd say the same thing at the same time.
Quite a while.
No, it didn't take a while.
It was mainly because it was obviously in the script. It's quite written, so we normally went on a beat, like say 1, 2, 3, then do it. Probably the weirdest one was the bumbling, bambling band of baboons. That probably took the longest to get out more than anything, and then to do it at the same time, and then do it 3 times as fast. That was a bit tricky.
Yeah, it was, but to be honest, I don't know if anyone's ever heard this story before. That all kind of happened by accident. We were rehearsing before we even started shooting. We had a meeting with Alfonso for the 3rd movie about the Marauders map scene. And Oliver and I were reading it, but we kind of, I don't know how it came about, we kind of started going a bit quicker. And, but before that we were reading it, and our granddad said, oh, wouldn't it be good if they kind of jumped over each other? Well, it's a bit of a double act, and then we ran that by Alfonso and he loved it, and then ever since then, for that movie and the 4 after that, that's kind of how it went.
Julia.
I have Ben with me all the way from Kansas City.
If you could play Quidditch and you did, then what position would you play?
I think for me, whenever I play soccer, it's always in defence. So a beater, because you can just bash people about.
That's the best.
Yeah, and run away very quickly after doing it.
Yeah, I play cricket, so yeah, beater as well. Yeah.
I just like the glory, so I'm gonna go for the seeker every time. Not that I'd be any good, but I'm gonna try.
I only go seeker as well. Being so short, I'm sure I have to have an advantage in something. So maybe being seeker.
Quick and elusive.
You go on, we on our team. I will stay at the bottom and sell candy or something.
You can be a cheerleader.
They'll make a position just for you. Candy seller. Steven.
I have Guy from North Carolina, and he has a question for anyone that would like to answer.
This is in relation to what we're all looking forward to, which is the opening of Diagon Alley. From your perspective, what do you think of like the Weasley shop coming up, or perhaps Nocturne Alley? Of course, the Green Gods Bank ride kind of thing. Just your perspective as you see it coming up.
We were very fortunate to be able to have a wander around the other day, and we can't. I mean, a lot of you can already see what there is to see already, and without giving too much away, we were blown away.
And I think because it's pretty much to scale as we did it. So if there's ever going to be an immersive environment of something with Weasleys, as well as Diagon Alley, it's the place to look at. I mean, Devon and me were very lucky to go around it first thing this morning at the crack of dawn, and we were both like, okay, this is pretty special, because it is like Diagon Alley, although you can do a lap, whereas when we're filming, you turn right, and they just be like a vanishing hallway. Like with a vanishing point, so that was really cool. So I think this is going to be so special when it opens up later in the year.
It's like, all you guys have already seen Hogsmeade, so that's the bar, and that's very good. And this is
the next level.
It's fantastic. But I mean, the first question I asked when we were getting shown around was, when does the big head with the hat going like that come in? And they said, we're gonna have to put that in last, because it's probably one of the most fragile parts to go in. So I think that'll be the funnest bit to see. If not, they'll probably strap James right at the top and get us to
I
Evanna made a really good point the other day when you first come to Hogsmeade and you're suddenly in this great wizarding world. It's great, but it can be quite what did you say? It's quite jarring coming from the Sinbad bit, like just straight into that. It's kind of crazy. But on this one, you get to start off in London, and they've recreated King's Cross beautifully. It's really uncanny, and then you're going to be able to take the journey as Harry would have, and as we did when we went with him in the books. You get to take that journey progressively into Diagon Alley, and you go through into the Wizarding World like a Muggle would in real life. It's that's I think is going to be my favourite bit. I think that's what people are going to really enjoy. I think Evanna said it better when she said it, but something like that.
You guys are excited about it, right? Evanna, do you want to add anything to that?
And all the things that they said, and also the dragon. There's a dragon, but we haven't seen it, and apparently it's going to breathe fire. So, and yeah, I was really, because in the movie, I mean, it's supposed to make you sad, but it made me really sad that the dragon was like down underground. It's like passionate animal rights activist, and so yeah, I'm really happy to see that they've let him out and he kind of gets to enjoy Diagon Alley too.
It's good for dragons.
Yeah.
From Mexico.
Hi guys, first I want to say that it's an honor to me to be here. And well, my question is, if you could create any kind of spell, what would it be and how did you call it?
Create any spell, what would it be and what would you call it?
I'd probably do a potion. I have no idea what I would call it, but the way Felix Felicis makes you feel like lucky, I would like just that whole cliche thing of when you smile at people, it makes everyone smile. I would just like to make a potion that just gives you, like, makes you feel positive and happy about things. So I think people are always better and they relate better when they feel good about themselves. And yeah, so just a happy burst. Call it that, happy burst.
Good name.
That was the complete opposite where I was going to go. I was going to come up with a spell so England could actually win the World Cup at some point. And that would be fiction, so what would it be called? Yeah, never going to happen. Kidding. Wow. Mine would be so you could get the sun to come out, because winter in England sucks.
Accio Sun?
Well, mine would be something like Yaki Daki Sunshine.
Nailed it.
Random.
Keep it, trademark it.
Yeah. I think there's definitely legs in that.
I think you're onto something, Devon.
I'm not sure, probably just to stay awake, because I always fall asleep like all day long. Like, I'd be doing something and bang, that's it. So I think something that'll keep me awake. What could I call it? Stay awakey. I don't know. There's just not enough hours in the day, so yeah, kind of crap.
I think I'd probably try and invent some kind of I think I'm going to stick with a potion, and I think something that would stop me procrastinating all the time when I got work to do. Like, I don't know what I'd call it, anti-lazy or something like that. Just stop me. I always find 1,000,001 things to do other than what I need to do. So it'd be good to figure out something that just focus my mind.
Just disable your internet. That's all you need to do.
Yeah, that's
Or the phone. All right, Julia?
I have Hannah, and she is from Oregon.
When you were shooting, what scenes were the hardest, physically or mentally, and why?
These are really good questions.
They were still asleep this morning, that's why. Now they're like, let's go.
I always think night shoots are quite hard physically, because you have to keep your energy up, and a lot of the time it's not supposed to, it's 4 a.m. and it's not supposed to be in the movies, and you just start to lag a bit. And also, acting not cold because there was some days where you're just freezing. Like I clearly remember the Dumbledore tribute scene, and we were so cold, and they had to keep stopping us and stop everyone, like, 'cause we were shivering, and we weren't thinking about Dumbledore, we were just like, I want to go to bed, you know? And then people started to get really happy and giddy because it felt like a sleepover. So those kind of things, like staying focused, I suppose, dealing with the elements. Also when planes fly overhead and you're outside and it just never stops.
In the middle of a serious scene, like...
Yeah. Kills the moment a bit.
Anybody else?
I can remember a hard one, but for the wrong reasons. It was quite challenging, shall we say. It was in the third film? Yeah, the third one, when Harry wakes up after being injured in the Quidditch match, and when he's told that his nimbus is shattered. And we're all around the bed, do you remember? He wakes up, and we couldn't, for whatever reason, we couldn't seem to get in the right position. And I can remember the crew getting really angry with it. I remember they said, okay, just go and take 10, calm down. And in the break, we were all like practicing how to form like a scrum, hold it together. That was pretty hard.
I think anything with large special effects, green screen stuff is quite challenging. There was the scene in Order of the Phoenix in the Department of Mysteries, in the prophecy room, which was actually just a hangar, an airplane hangar about the size of this room, and it was just all green. There was no shells, there was no walls of any kind. It was just a big green room, and the six of us, Evanna, we had to just imagine everything.
We had to run, and they kept cutting and saying, "You crashed into a shelf.
Yeah.
Knocked over all the orbs."
They kind of showed us a 3D model and said, this is what it will look like when you're on screen. And so we're running on pits that actually are supposed to be shelves and running through Death Eaters and all this kind of stuff. And so that was a real challenge. I think that was, David Yates really came into his own there with his directing, trying to get us to look scared and imagine stuff that was around us.
No microphone. Oh, hi. I have Katie and Danielle from Ohio with a question for anyone who would like to answer.
Hi, we were just wondering, if Harry Potter had been made about 20 years in the future, what character would you have wanted to play as an adult and why?
Probably Snape. He's, as I was just saying, he's like kick-ass character. He's strict, he's firm, he's puts people in their place, and that's what I like to do. So, yeah.
I would get a ton of Botox and insist on playing Luna again. I'd be like, no, I would just not have that. I would be very jealous. But yeah, if I had to, if it was really impossible, I'd probably be Trelawney, because she's really fun. I like how she kind of makes up her own predictions.
What if they have like a female Hagrid?
Female Hagrid? Yeah, okay, yeah. Can't really imagine that. There's nothing feminine about Hagrid.
I think it's been like playing one of the only real family members, as it were, in the whole series. I'd say Mr. Weasley, just because it would be quite cool to dye my hair ginger again for a reason. And keep him with the Weasley family.
James?
I'm waiting for Matt so I can...
As Michael? Well, I don't think I'd ever be able to do the role as much justice as Mr. Oldman did, but Sirius Black would be pretty cool.
Good choice.
I'm going to go completely left field and go with Dobby.
I could see that. Jason.
Hey guys, our last question this afternoon comes from our friends from Fort Lauderdale. This is Brooke and Adriana.
Hi, I just wanted to ask, what was your most personal, touching scene that you guys either got to film or just watch or in the books?
Dobby's death? Definitely. Sorry to put that out there right after you said you'd play him.
Dobby beat you out. She's like, Dobby's
But no, I didn't expect that. I didn't expect to be involved in his death scene, and actually, I was very involved. I even closed his eyes, and it was heartbreaking. And because there was a lot of shots without anyone there, and then there was shots with a really tiny person, and then there was shots but they had the statue, or not statue, they had like a mold of him there, and he was in his little pillow slip, and he had just a big wound, and it was just the most horrifying, heart-wrenching image, just a dead Dobby right there. So I didn't have to reach very far to feel sad and heartbroken. But yeah, I didn't enjoy that. And also it was raining really heavy. It was just one of those scenes where, you didn't have to act. It
all fell into place. James.
I'd sort of seen in the Deathly Hallows Part 1 where they all, it's like the 7 Harrys, and they all get back to the Burrow and everyone's kind of changing into their real character. And the scene is George is out on the couch with no ear and pretty in a bad way. And I was kind of not sure how to go about it, because normally on set I was quite talk to everyone, very happy, fooling around sometimes. And I didn't want to do that because I wasn't sure if I'd get the right emotion if I was happy chatting, action, and then straight into it. So I asked Julie Walters, who played our mum, Mrs. Weasley, just for her advice, and she literally said that you can always apologise to someone afterwards. If you've got to be upset, if you've got to be angry, if you've got to be whatever, if they're trying to talk at you, you just kind of say, give me a moment, because this is your job, and you've got to do the job to the best of your ability. And I still feel really bad, so I still say sorry for him. There was a guy on the AD team called Gareth, who's a lovely guy, really nice guy, and he came over to me, he's like, Jim, how you doing today? I was like, yeah. And so anyway, we went and shot the scene, and it kind of came out all right. And then afterwards, I was like, I'm so sorry, man. And he was genuinely like, I thought I really upset you then. But yeah, that scene would probably be the one for me.
I know it sounds pretty obvious, but like Fred's death scene was pretty much like that. Not necessarily, I mean, I've read real rubbish like we hugged each other and said we loved each other as soon as we finished film. Didn't happen. We actually left James on the floor to sleep. But yeah, like to actually get yourself to a physical state where you're actually crying and everything can be a bit draining anyway. So yeah, that whole sequence there, and also having eucalyptus leaf blown in your eyes so you tear up, takes it out of you a bit as well. That
imagine, Devon.
Mine, it's kind of touching, and not the fact that it was sad or anything like that, but it was more pride. The fact that Neville was able to stand up to Voldemort, and it just, it was what the Gryffindors are really all about. He was the voice for every single one of the Gryffindor characters. He had the courage, he was loyal, and he was just really what Gryffindor. He was Gryffindor in a nutshell.
Thanks, mate.
Matthew's not like that though in real life.
I wasn't even the one that I'm going to say. I didn't even have anything to do with it. But the scene that really struck a chord with me, and I just thought it was so beautiful, and I thought it was the best performance of anyone from the whole series was Alan Rickman, the Snape's memory. Yeah. In the final film, I just thought it was just so beautiful. I just thought it was really, really, really wonderfully acted, and it brought a tear to my eye. And I just thought it was, yeah, I don't really know what else to say about it. It really captured all those emotions that I had when I read the book, and I just saw it all there on the screen, and I thought it was just a masterpiece. That was great.
All great scenes, guys. That is all the time we have.